So how do you go from that how do you detach from what's happening on the outside world, get that strong sense of being in control of yourself, what you focus on, the results that you create? And what is that path to? Is that alignment? Is that learning to think more expansively? You mentioned alignment before. I was wondering, where that plays in here.
Yeah, I think this journey of, you call it self-development, you call it growth, you can call it alignment, you can call it spirituality, like you really can call it whatever you want to call it. I find that we have, as humans, we have so many words for something that's just something so simple. And so instead of making it complex, the first thing that's helped me is being able to identify that everything as far as growth comes down to just two simple things: is a survival brain and a thriving brain. Now, you can say so many different words for that. What I love about you, Deborah, is that you're going to have your own words for that, right? You can call it primal brain. You can call it successful brain, right? Like thousands of different ways that you can say it. But when you are able to just bring it back to the core of those, then what you'll find is that there's two versions of you: one that is in that survival place, and that other version of you that is in that successful expanded phase. And so you've heard me say contracting. What is that? Survival, right? You've heard me say expanding. That is your that's your success. That's your thriving. And so what it comes down to is when you simplify it, you'll notice that everything comes back to that. Everything from your success of your relationships to the success of your business, to the success of being a parent, to the success of being a human being on everything, like financial freedom, like, I mean, really anything. It just always comes down to those two simple things. Which one are you operating from? So when I say alignment, it's about being able to go into your alignment of your expansion energy. Nothing good is going to come from contracting. I'll tell you that right now. I lived my entire life in contracting energy. And I have a very awesome job that I get to sit and listen one-on-one with all my clients across the world. I get to see this isn't just my perspective. I get to see this as many people's perspectives, and that gives me such a different viewpoint that I get to see. So there's this art of doing, and then there's an art of being. So when I say alignment, it's about coming into your being first. When you're in that place, you become magnetic. It is physics. Albert Einstein, my favorite quote, I have to throw it out here, is "We are all energy." And no matter what energy you're wanting to attract, you have to match that frequency. And there's no other way, but you will get that outcome. It's not philosophy, it's physics. And I live my life in regard to that, because it is so true. Once I figured that out myself, and Albert Einstein's my homie, and I was like, oh, this whole time you've been saying this has been in front of my face this whole time. Dude, you've been around forever. And it's so true. And so that's what I would tell people first is before your to-do list, before your 80 hours you're working in the week, anything that you do, go to your place of being and check in with yourself. Is your being in a place of contraction, in a place of fear, in a place of desperation? Well, of course that's going to come off onto people. They're going to feel that desperation, whether it's in a relationship, they're going to run away from it. If it's in business, of course they don't want to buy desperation, right? So it's like a universal term.
It
And
is. And there's so much wisdom. Like, we didn't make this stuff up, right? It's, you can go back to Napoleon Hill, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, of course, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Byron Katie, Barbara Hewson, all throughout history, Albert Einstein. I mean, and we can go to generations even further back. It is just wisdom and truth that we move away from when we're in corporate, because no one wants you to show up in the office in a state of being. They want you to show up in the office in a state of doing. In fact, the more you can suppress your beingness, the more successful you are in corporate. So the rough part of this transition is this transition of identity, when you're used to playing by someone else's rules, and now you get to write the rules, and you also get to create the space in which you want to operate. And so we teach, morning journaling, morning meditation, grounding yourself in that state of being before you go into your state of doing. And this has been such a really valuable discussion, Danita. I'm so glad you've been open to sharing with us.